So hi, welcome to Good Noise Podcast. We're here with How I Became Invisible. We're going to ask them some questions today. I'm going to start. What inspired you to start the project, and what does the project name mean?
Well, I was inspired to start the project because I used to be in a band called Robots and Race Cars. That was a pop punk band from around Philly that we recorded in a studio with a friend of ours. And he's like, "Hey, I'm doing these specials where we're just like $50 full session. Come in, do whatever you want, it'll get done." I'm like, "Oh, cool. Well, I'll come in and do a couple songs of my own that don't really fit the pop punk band." And then 3 months later, they were done, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with these.
Yeah.
So I have like a constant list of like band names and song titles and album titles, and because that's like I just sit around, I'll think of a cool phrase, like I write that down.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was obsessed with this comic book series called The Invisibles, which it's a Vertigo series from the 90s that was, and the early 2000s, that was written and created by Grant Morrison, who is one of my favorite writers. And it's like weird science, conspiracy theories, I don't even know how else to describe it. Anarchy, witchcraft, magic, all this cool stuff.
Yeah.
And it's based in a lot of like actual like reality stuff. I loved it. It's like younger me, that was like the thing that made them be like, oh, I want to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
So there was an issue title of that called How I Became Invisible. And I was like, I really like that phrasing. I'm stealing that. So that's where the pen name came from. And it's just become more thematic as time has gone on.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. So, can you tell us a little bit about your writing process?
My writing process is, oh my God, in context, it can differ. So with How I Became Visible, it's just whatever I write is whatever I write. So I've done like acoustic-y, folky type jams, or like pop punk, straight up punk rock. I did an instrumental EP that was entirely electronic because I was trying to learn how to make electronic music. So I said, fuck it, why not?
Okay.
Yeah.
But I have a file in my phone of just random lyrics that I tend to just build and build and build until I have a song. With How I Became Visible. So it's just whatever fits is whatever fits. With some of the other bands I've been in, like Danger Club, I'm the vocalist and all I write is the lyrics. So the rest of the band, who are vastly better musicians than I am, will write these like crazy complicated like emo, prog, like multiple time signatures, and then there's weird stops and stuff. And then give it to me and be like, hey, do something with this. I'm like, well, shit.
You're like, fuck.
I guess I'll start listening to Coheed again.
Yeah.
So for this project, what was the first song you wrote?
The first official How I Became Visible song was called Only Lovers Left Alive, which is also an issue title from The Invisibles. But it's also, because that was also, I think it was a sci-fi novel, and then there was a vampire movie recently that had the same name. So it's just this name that keeps carrying over into different things, which is cool. And that was kind of a pseudo-fictional narrative about a person in a toxic relationship who keeps waking up in hospitals with the same person and not really ever changing it.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel about the reception to your most recent album, American Invisible?
So American Invisible is actually odd because that's not technically a How I Became Visible album. Like I put it up on Spotify under that name because it was easier, but it was actually in conjunction with American Goner, who operates under Sparrowheart Records. He had a couple songs that he'd written that didn't have lyrics or vocals, and he's like, hey, would you want to do something with this? I was like, yeah, sure. So I wrote some vocals. I said, well, while we're doing this, why don't I write a couple songs and you could do the vocals for them? He said, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then I put it all together and produced it, mixed it, and titled everything off of random quotes from stand-ups that I like. And so that's like an outlier in terms of the stuff I've put out. Like there's I still couldn't help doing the thing I like to do, which is trying to make a narrative out of it, which is why there's weird space stuff all over it and quotes from the Columbia Space Shuttle. Because like I was telling a friend the other day, like, I can't help but write concept now.
Mhm.
Like, I used to just write, like, I was in a pop punk band in the early 2000s. We wrote songs about girls, and it got kind of. I got kind of tired of it, and
Yeah.
not because like, oh, it's terrible, you shouldn't do that, but like I feel like if you keep doing it, it just
It gets
borders
old,
on
yeah.
misogyny. It gets
Yeah.
old, yeah,
Yeah.
and it borders on misogyny.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Mhm.
okay, I love you, Newfound Glory. How many times can you write about the girl who broke your heart?
Yeah. Way
Yeah.
too many times. Apparently, they can just keep on doing it every couple
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. Or if you want to go really dark with it, you become brand new, and I definitely don't want to be that now.
Yeah.
So you dropped a couple singles at the beginning of the month. How are you feeling about the response to those?
People seem to be digging them, which is cool. I have a friend of mine, Jiraiya, who's a musician. I don't know if he's been on your podcast or not. Who actually directly messaged me and said, like, "This is the best thing you've ever done." I'm like, "Really? I threw this together in a day. Cool."
Damn.
Aw.
That's awesome.
I self-record everything,
Wow.
and I've gotten it down to the point that, like, a friend of mine, Tom, the other day was asking me, he's like, "Hey, so how do you do this so fast?" I'm like, "Well, I don't have to pay a studio. I don't have to like rush through everything and try to get it done as fast as possible. So I have half-finished songs all over the place.
Yeah.
But if I have a song I've written, like, I can get that done because I know exactly what I want in there. And
Yeah.
then the only time-consuming part is mixing it and then trying to make it different. So, like, the last single was Queequeg's Coffin. That was me experimenting with different guitar sounds because I tend to just use the one distortion because I like distortion.
Yeah.
And the single I wrote, which is coming out on July 3rd, which is called Challenger. That's the first time I've like attempted to do like a synth like orchestra
Okay.
during the breakdown part. So that'll be an interesting thing to see how people think of that. But no, I think overall, like, it's weird because I live in a bubble and I don't really pay attention. Like, people don't tell me, "Oh, I love your stuff," usually, and I'm not like obsessively looking to see how people react to it. So I don't know if people like my music or not.
Oh, I get that. Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
I just put it out and like, oh, if people like it, cool. If not, well, I'm going to keep doing it because this is how I'm keeping calm and non-panicked while I'm stuck in
Yeah.
my house for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah. Well, as somebody who listened to your music, I am going to directly tell you I liked it. So, yeah, I don't know.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, are your newest singles leading up to an EP or an album release? Even though, you just like helped out with that other album, but are you planning on doing a new one?
Okay, well, I hadn't officially said anything yet because I am the worst at promotion. So I like to be like, if you look at the How I Became Visible Twitter account, it's really just kind of oblique and just random phrases and then occasionally numbers, and then it'll be like, oh, a single's out. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
On my actual Twitter account, I am like Chatty Cathy. But I am working towards an album. I haven't
Ooh.
figured out when I'm going to release it yet, but I'm about halfway through recording the tracks for it. It was
Oh.
I've been doing about a single a month at this point, and then there's other random tracks here and there just because, like, when this all started, I kind of went overboard and recorded an EP and then a single and then a cover, and then it's like I just kept going. I'm like, I have to slow down because if I put out too much, no one's going to listen to it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
And then I was looking through my phone to see, okay, what do I have that I could work on? And I realized I had an album's worth of material I could start now. So I've been doing, recording wise, I've been doing like a song a week, a song every 2 weeks, just to try to keep in that groove of doing stuff.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I don't know when it's going to come out. I'm thinking maybe September, October, which is around the time last year when I put out my last full length called Unidentified. That came out September of last year.
All right. Looking forward to that.
Hopefully it's cool. I don't know what it's going to be right now because I'm not doing like I said, I'm contradicting myself already. I said I do like concept,
Yeah.
but the only concept for this one at this point is loud punk music. And by the way, I'm transgender. That's about it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a concept.
Yeah.
So, what artists would you say are your biggest inspirations when you're making music?
It depends on the band,
Okay.
I guess. with How I Became Visible, it could be literally anything at this point. In general, though, I want to say like the Wonder Years, or like the offshoot Aaron West and the Roaring Twenties that the singer from the Wonder Years does. I love that band. I love him, his voice. I love the way he writes and the way he puts songs together.
Yeah.
And Motion City Soundtrack,
Taste.
Ooh,
I guess would be the other one.
you love to see it.
Yeah.
I miss
So-
that band.
Did you catch them during their reunion tour or whatever?
I didn't, because I had a choice to either get that or get Wonder Years tickets,
Okay.
and I got Wonder Years tickets.
That is
Yeah, I-
so valid. I saw them at Starland Ballroom, and then I was supposed to see the Wonder Years, and then that got canceled because of Corona.
Yep, I was supposed to go to the show in Philly, and I am very bummed I couldn't.
Yeah, you could have seen
Aw.
Motion City Soundtrack, but instead you got tickets and then
Yeah.
canceled. That sucks, though.
To be
Yeah.
fair, I also got tickets for the Aaron West record release show they did in Asbury.
Oh, cool.
And they're putting out the live album of that. So I'm like, well, I guess that kind of is okay.
Yeah, wasn't that at House of Independence or something like that, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
All right.
Sick. I've only been to 2 concerts ever, so
And Gloria's not from around here, so
yeah, I'm in Virginia. So where do you see the project in the next 5 years?
No idea. Because it keeps rapidly evolving. Like it's all like I have a songwriting style, and I can't really like lie about that. Like I play bass in a band called Take Today, and the singer of that is like, yeah, this is definitely a Nick song when I send him stuff, because I have a definite structure and like sound I like to use, and I've been trying to break out of that. So I don't know where I see that part of it going, but
Okay.
the goal I've kind of established since being stuck inside through the COVID-19 pandemic, because everyone's supposed to be like, social distancing and stay at home for a while. I have cystic fibrosis, so I'm very immunocompromised. So I'm not venturing out of my house until there's a vaccine.
Yeah.
But as soon as that's done, I'm putting a full band together, because I can't.
Ooh.
I've not there in this project has existed in some form or fashion since 2008, and there has been 2 full band shows. There's been a couple acoustic things, but never just a full band other than those 2. And I'm tired of, I don't know, putting other things first or just making excuses about why I can't do it, and just saying, no, I'm just going to do it. I have enough friends who play music. I'm in like 7 million different bands. I could pull together a band, I think.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah. All right, that's
And then
exciting.
maybe I'll play a show.
A single show once
Go for it.
once COVID's over.
Yeah.
So for the last couple of questions, we're going to shift away from music, and we're going to go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be? And please pick a drink.
Ooh, last meal. It would be. I'm going to go comfort food.
Okay.
It's the favorite thing my mom would make for me and my sisters when we were growing up. It's called cheesy broccoli bake.
Ooh.
It's like a casserole with it's like rice and cheese and chicken and broccoli, and then there's like some breadcrumbs on top, and it is super not good for you in terms of me trying to be healthier.
Yeah.
But it's amazing, and I love it. And
Yeah.
a drink, I would probably find a nice sour beer.
Ooh. All right.
Nice crisp and refreshing.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Solid. So, if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I have too many to choose from.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
I don't know if it's like, so you've listened to the music, so I don't know if it's abundantly clear that I am into nerd shit. I mean, I name songs after podcasts and comic books and quotes from The Good Place and stuff like that. I would, you know what? Community. I'd want to live in
Ooh.
Greendale and hang out there for a week, because that place seems like it would be like, even when they're just kind of hanging out and doing nothing, that place seems magical.
Yeah. Understandable.
Yeah.
I get that.
And you don't have the constant threat of like superheroes, villains blowing things up, or
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, like just Sauron, or I don't know, Doctor Who,
Yeah.
the Daleks might show up. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I have the honor of asking the last question, and everyone we've spoken to has said it's the most important question. What is your favorite color?
Royal blue.
Ooh, that's a very nice blue.
Yes.
Well, I am
I like
a
that
fucking
one.
queen, so
Yes, you are.
Hell yeah. So like I said, that's all the questions we have for you today. Is there anything you would like to plug?
sure. If anybody wants to talk to me, I am eminently reachable on Twitter at n.reed. That's NDOTREED. I'm also on Instagram under the same thing. And just be prepared for lots of pictures of myself or my dogs or, I don't know, random stuff I think is weird. You can find my music at howibecameinvisible.com or the other bands I'm in, Danger Club, which is dangerclubpa.com, Robots and Race Cars, which is robotsandracecars.com, and Take Today, which is taketoday.com. All of those are also on Spotify, Apple Music, pretty much anywhere where they're streaming music. And when is this going to come out? I don't want to I don't want to timestamp it.
A month?
sometime next month.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure I'll have a single out.
All right.
I have music coming out. I'm on a comp that's coming out on July 3rd called Demos for Difference. I did a cover of a Sam Stone song in a very like Against Me style. That's I don't know when that's coming out, but I did a Weaker Than's cover. I don't know what I'm doing with that. That might be a single B-side. I'm not even sure. Like I said, I do too much music. Just go to the website.
fair.
I'm sure something will be there.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right.
Come bother me on Twitter. I'll be talking about dresses and why I can't wear the ones I want.
All right. Very good. So thank you for sitting down with us. This has been How I Became Invisible, and we're the Good Noise Podcast.